It's another year, it's 2017, but as IICA we are here again to present our results for 2016. 2016 was a monumental year. We have had tremendous success, a number of interventions. However, we would want to be very results-oriented in all our activities, but we must remember the importance of accountability and transparency in all that we do. It must be a critical component of our interventions. And like any other organization, we would want to have our own sort of annual general meeting. And this is why we are here today, to validate our results, to present them before you, our stakeholders, because it's only you that can recognize the work that we do and can inform us on the way forward. So while we're here today to recognize the successes of last year, we would also want to think about how we can implement our activities, how we can partner with our various colleagues here today for 2017 and beyond. So with that, I want to invite you and welcome you to our 2017 Accountability Seminar. Sit back, relax. Well, let me not say relax, because I don't want anyone falling asleep. Remain focused as we hear various presentations on the work of IICA in 2016.
Let me start by welcoming you on the annual report presentation for 2016 and bring you the greetings from our Director General at IICA, Dr. Victor Villalobos, and all the other delegations in the Eastern Caribbean states. The IICA delegation in St. Lucia will be presenting today its annual report for 2016. This report reflects on the work of the IICA delegation in St. Lucia and its contribution to the agriculture sector by evaluating against set objectives and by demonstrating IICA commitment to reporting as mandated to our major stakeholders. The agriculture sector in St. Lucia remains strategically important to the economic stability by providing self-employment as a sustainable livelihood and by extension providing positive impact on the food import bill. Placing the agriculture in an international context and a regional context, the International Monetary Fund's estimated global economic output for 2016 by 3.1%, a slight downward revision from earlier 2016 projection, but still not reflect on significant downside economic ramification of Brexit and some global uncertainty following the US election. Global food commodity market prices remained relatively stable in 2016. In 2016, in our region, the Caribbean region, we experienced a challenging year as it did in 2015. Continuing low commodity prices have affected oil-producing countries such as Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, causing sharp economic contraction, which had knock-on effect of exporting countries. Selling to those markets was very difficult. Despite these challenges, the St. Lucia agriculture sector contributed to the GDP marginally to 2.5% in 2016. In 2015, the contribution of the agriculture sector was 2.3%, so an increase of 0.2%. This outrun was associated with growth of all sectors, particularly livestock and crops. Crop production grew with 4.5%, driven in part by the estimated increase in purchases by hotel and supermarket as they increase their effort in supporting local production. And that is one of the things that we in IICA are encouraging, building a relationship between the private sector and the farmers. Of course, the government has to put in place the enabling environment. Right, Minister? We at IICA are extremely proud to to have contributed towards this success. Unlocking the agriculture sector potential is crucial if we are to meet one of the greatest challenges facing humankind, achieving food security. The success of the implementation of our 2016 program was mainly based on the partnership and collaboration of the Ministry of Agriculture, the farmers, the OECS, and international organizations. We therefore wish to thank all the partners, especially our main collaborator, the ministry, the local agriculture organizations, and all the other extra regional, national, regional, extra-regional technical institutions, diplomatic missions, which have worked alongside us to produce results we have achieved in 2016. We definitely look forward to a similar working relationship in 2017. For this year is very significant for IICA. It marks 75 years of providing technical assistance to 34 countries in the Western Hemisphere. Ladies and gentlemen, more than 75 years ago, visionary men identified the need for an agency specializing in agriculture for the Americas with an objective that is just as relevant as today. That is, providing agriculture development and rural well-being in the hemisphere. It was then that the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, so you want IICA, was born. 75 years of service in the life of an individual or organization is indeed a milestone. It's always a time of sober reflection, stock-taking, and celebration. In commemoration of our 75th anniversary, the IICA delegation in St. Lucia will organize a few activities during the course of the year. One of the activities will be in June, where we will have an after-budget presentation discussing the impact of the budget for 2016. The Institute also wishes to thank the staff of IICA, the IICA delegation in St. Lucia, who represent the foundation in the Institute's success and for the commitment in their effort during 2016. I want a warm applause for my staff, right, who organized this event and really showed a lot of dedication to achieve our objective towards 2016. In closing, let me reassure you of IICA's commitment to continue its support to agriculture development and rural well-being in St. Lucia. Thank you very much.
I'm happy to be here to participate in this seminar. I must confess I was given some notes so at least I could have addressed this gathering this morning, but I have decided to speak from the heart because I think it's opportune to tell you how I feel and what my plans are as far as moving the agricultural sector forward. But I also believe it's always a good thing for us as organizations, as leaders in our respective fields, to spend some time with our stakeholders and to interact with them, to evaluate what we have done, and to get feedback from them as to how they believe that we can improve what we are doing. And I want to compliment you, Mr. King, and your staff members for this opportunity to allow our stakeholders in the agricultural sector to dialogue with IICA. Because you said that IICA, well, not you said, but IICA is 75 years old. And by way of history, I remembered when IICA started its office in St. Lucia. Where we are right now was the kitchen for cadets, and I'm sure Mr. Pilgrim will remember that. And when IICA started, the office was at Camelot. And those of us who know where Camelot is would remember that's where the first office for IICA was established. And Mr. Everton Ambrose, who was my lecturer, was transferred from the Ministry of Agriculture to work with IICA. Well, he's deceased now. So, apart from being 75 years old, IICA have a long history in St. Lucia. And I want to place and record my appreciation for the work that IICA have done. And I'm sure you know now the mood in St. Lucia and in the world is organizations need to change. And I'm sure all of us here would, those of us who follow the budget would appreciate the mood of the United Workers' Party. Organizations, especially those that are serving the agricultural sector, need to restructure, need to look at the environment that we're operating under, and need to do things differently. So I want to say that we're here to hear from you what your accomplishments were in 2016, and of course for us to influence how we approach 2017. I heard you spoke about, Mr. King, the impact as far as production is concerned and the increase in production for 2016, and that is correct. But we also have to look at opportunities. Because when I look at the records for 2016 as far as purchases for domestic traditional vegetables, and that can be found on the Economic and Social Review, Table 15. The records are showing that for the year 2016, we were able to see an increase in local sales, very good, to $3.5 million. So over the years, we are seeing that our local production is increasing, and of course, those of us who are involved in giving the support to our farmers, I want to encourage us to continue. But what's also striking is that our imports are also increasing. And let me share some figures here this morning. And it's increasing at a rate that is surpassing our local purchases. For example, based on figures coming from the Ministry of Agriculture, in 2016, we imported $1.6 million worth of cabbages. Lettuce, $706,000 worth of lettuce. Tomatoes, $636,000. And the list can go on: sweet pepper, watermelon, cantaloupe, and pineapple. When I total, Mr. Chairman, these crops, and remember I said in the Economic Review, we talk about traditional vegetables, so I would assume that these crops can be considered as traditional vegetables. When I total these 7 crops, it totals to $5 million. Now, I'm one who look at the positive side and not the negative. The positive side is, here it is, we have a market for at least 7 of the crops we can grow locally. This on the 2016 figures of $5 million. The question is, what are we going to do moving forward? Stakeholders, what are we going to do moving forward to capitalize on the opportunity? What are we going to do to provide the type of support to our farmers for them to be able to capitalize on that opportunity? It's a big challenge. I don't think it's a big challenge. And like you said, as a government, we are committed to agriculture. And I'm sure you would realize that the allocation for agriculture for 2017-18 has increased. It's a clear indication that my government and my Minister of Finance is interested in agriculture. But of course, whatever we are doing, we need to see the results. We need to see the impact. We need to now spend more time giving support, direct support to our farmers. Workshops and consultancies and reports are all good. We have a pile of reports. We have reports on one marketing board. We have reports on fish marketing cooperation. We have reports upon reports. How are we implementing the recommendations of the reports to impact our farmers? How are we utilizing the limited resources we have to support production? And I want to say here today, Mr. Chairman, that's the mindset I have right now. How are we going to support our farmers in the respective rural communities to assist them to impact on these figures? Now I want to say, as a ministry, we shall be engaging IICA and all the other organizations that are responsible to influence agriculture. And let's see where our strengths are. Let's see where our weaknesses are. And what I mean by that is that we should not be competing with each other. IICA should not be competing with CADI. CADI should not be competing with OECS. OECS should not be competing with FAO. We should sit around the table, like we're doing right now. Let's look at what are the policies of the government and where we believe the respective organizations can impact these policies in a positive way. I want to say that I'm seeing too many duplications. Everybody involved in cassava. Everybody involved in small ruminants. You know? Everybody involved in school feeding program. We cannot afford this with limited resources, financial resources and human resources. We cannot. And I've said so when I had the opportunity to go to Costa Rica. I said it, and I'm saying it again, and I'm serious about it. We need to sit down and discuss what we can do based on the policies. How are we going to reduce that $5 million of imports? What type of targets are we putting in place in year 1, year 2, year 3? Because we speak about reducing our food import bill. Of course, we want to reduce our food import bill. But the type of figures we are seeing there, are we really achieving this? And the answer to my mind is no. Because when I review the figures over the years, from 2011 come to 2016, we are seeing that we're importing more and more. Likewise, locally, we're producing more and more. So I want to say that as a government, we have a number of programs in place. A lot of talk has been said about closing a marketing board. And as one minister who is responsible for agriculture, I want to say that's not the thinking. I don't think we should close any institution, especially when we know marketing is a serious and important link in agriculture. I've said it. We need to restructure these entities, the Central Marketing Board, the Fish Marketing Corporation, and I want to place on record, Mr. Chairman, my appreciation to IICA for giving us the support in reviewing these institutions and coming with recommendation how we can make the changes to these institutions. We need to have sustainable markets if we are going to impact on these figures. Because we all know that agriculture, we are dealing with a highly perishable item. It's not a table or a bottle of wine. Shelf life for agricultural products is very short. So a reliable market is critical. Value-added agro-processing is also critical. And I know, Mr. Chairman, we can rely on IICA to give support in this regard. But moving forward, I want to say that I'm very optimistic that we can continue the work that we have started. We need to sit down and look at the resources that we have. We need to sit down and plan properly, give ourselves targets And when we come to seminars like these, we can evaluate ourselves based on the targets that we have provided ourselves. So I'm looking forward to 2017, because I'm sure in the coming weeks, Mr. King, we will sit down and discuss further how can we get the support of IICA, and I'm sure the other organizations that are there. Be one, the same approach will be done with regards to the other organizations. How can we sit down and discuss what is it that we're doing based on the allocations that we receive? What is it that we're doing as far as getting out there, analyzing the information in front of us, and give ourselves the targets to be able to assess our performance at the end of a given period. So I want to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. I want to wish you and your staff all the success, Mr. King, in moving forward. And I'm looking forward for us to continue to collaborate as we, all of us, our objective is to impact our rural folks, our stakeholders, and I'm sure by we working together, we will be able to accomplish this. So thank you very much for the opportunity.